Wars. Wars have shaped the course of history, leaving behind tales of bravery, devastation, and loss. Throughout time, some wars have stood out not only for their scale, but for the staggering number of lives they claimed. Today, we're counting down the top 10 deadliest wars in world history, each a grim reminder of the cost of conflict. From ancient rebellions to global wars, stay with us as we delve into the bloodiest chapters of human history. 10. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953. Our list begins with the Korean War, a brutal conflict that erupted on the Korean Peninsula in 1950. After World War II, Korea was divided into two zones, north and south, along the 38th parallel. On June 25, 1950, North Korean forces, supported by the Soviet Union and China, launched a surprise invasion of the South. What followed was a fierce and bloody war that lasted 3 years, involving millions of soldiers from North and South Korea, China, the United States, and other United Nations member states. The war resulted in the deaths of an estimated 2.5 to 3 million people, many of them civilians caught in the crossfire. Although the fighting ceased with an armistice in 1953, the Korean War technically never ended, leaving the Korean Peninsula divided and tense to this day. 9. The Congo Wars, 1996 to 2003. Next on our list is the Congo Wars, often referred to as Africa's World War. Spanning from 1996 to 2003, these conflicts involved multiple African nations, including Rwanda, Uganda, Angola, and Zimbabwe, fighting within the borders of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The wars were fueled by ethnic tensions, political instability, and the scramble for the Congo's vast natural resources. The human cost was catastrophic, with an estimated 5.4 million people losing their lives, mostly due to violence, starvation, and disease. The Congo Wars left deep scars on the region, and even today, the DRC continues to struggle with the legacies of these devastating conflicts. 8. The 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648. The 30 Years' War, which ravaged Europe from 1618 to 1648, is one of the longest and most destructive conflicts in European history. Initially sparked by religious tensions between Protestants and Catholics within the Holy Roman Empire, the war quickly expanded as various European powers joined in pursuit of political and territorial gains. The war was marked by widespread atrocities, including massacres, famine, and disease, which claimed the lives of an estimated 4 to 8 million people. By the time the war ended with the Peace of Westphalia, much of Central Europe was in ruins, and the political map of the continent had been permanently altered. 7. The Russian Civil War, 1917 to 1923. Following the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, Russia was plunged into a chaotic and brutal civil war. The conflict pitted the Red Army, led by the Bolsheviks, against the White Army, a loose coalition of anti-Bolshevik forces. As the war raged on, various factions, including foreign powers, nationalist movements, and anarchists, joined the fray, further complicating the conflict. The Russian Civil War was marked by extreme violence, widespread famine, and the execution of millions. By the time the Bolsheviks emerged victorious in 1923, an estimated 7 to 12 million people had perished, making it one of the deadliest conflicts in history. 6. The Napoleonic Wars, 1803 to 1815. Napoleon Bonaparte's ambition to dominate Europe led to a series of wars known as the Napoleonic Wars, which lasted from 1803 to 1815. These conflicts involved nearly every major European power, as well as the United States, and spanned continents from Europe to the Americas, Africa, and Asia. The wars were characterized by massive battles, innovative military strategies, and the spread of revolutionary ideals. However, the human toll was immense, with an estimated 3.5 to 6 million people losing their lives. The Napoleonic Wars culminated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, where Napoleon was finally defeated, ending his reign and reshaping the political landscape of Europe. 5. The Second Sino-Japanese War, 1937 to 1945. The Second Sino-Japanese War, which began in 1937, was a brutal conflict between China and Japan that later merged into the broader conflict of World War I. The war was marked by widespread atrocities, including the infamous Nanking Massacre, where hundreds of thousands of Chinese civilians were slaughtered by Japanese forces. The conflict devastated large parts of China, leading to the deaths of an estimated 15 to 20 million people, mostly civilians. The war also contributed to the eventual downfall of the Chinese nationalist government, paving the way for the rise of the Communist Party under Mao Zedong. 4. The Anlushan Rebellion, 755 to 763. One of the deadliest conflicts in ancient history, the Anlushan Rebellion was a devastating civil war that took place during China's Tang Dynasty. The rebellion was led by Anlushan, a military general who declared himself emperor and sought to overthrow the ruling Tang Dynasty. The rebellion and the subsequent civil war ravaged the Chinese heartland, causing widespread famine, disease, and destruction. By the time the rebellion was finally crushed in 763, an estimated 13 to 36 million people had died, making it one of the deadliest wars in history. The Tang Dynasty never fully recovered from the rebellion, and it marked the beginning of the dynasty's decline. 3. World War I, 1914 to 1918. World War I, known as the Great War, was a global conflict that engulfed Europe and beyond from 1914 to 1918. The war began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, which set off a chain reaction of alliances and conflicts between the world's great powers. World War I introduced a new kind of warfare with trench battles, chemical weapons, and devastating artillery bombardments. The war claimed the lives of an estimated 15 to 20 million people, both soldiers and civilians, and led to the collapse of empires and the redrawing of borders across Europe. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, also laid the groundwork for future conflicts, including World War II. 2. The Taiping Rebellion, 1850 to 1864. The Taiping Rebellion, which took place in China between 1850 and 1864, was one of the deadliest civil wars in human history. Led by Hong Xiuquan, who claimed to be the younger brother of Jesus Christ, the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom sought to overthrow the Qing dynasty and establish a new Christian kingdom in China. The rebellion quickly gained support from millions of disaffected peasants and laborers, leading to a massive and protracted conflict. The war was characterized by brutal battles, massacres, and widespread famine, resulting in the deaths of an estimated 20 to 30 million people. The rebellion was eventually crushed by Qing forces, but the devastation it caused left China weakened and vulnerable to foreign influence. Please, if you found this journey through history as eye-opening as we did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. And remember, history isn't just about the past. It's about understanding the present and shaping the future. And at our number 1, World War II, 1939 to 1945. At the top of our list is World War II, known as the deadliest conflict in human history. From 1939 to 1945, World War I engulfed nearly every corner of the globe, involving more than 100 million people. World War II stands as the deadliest conflict in human history due to its unprecedented scale, global reach, and the sheer devastation it wrought. Involving more than 100 million people across over 30 nations, it was a total war that blurred the lines between civilian and military targets. The war's death toll is estimated at 70 to 85 million, representing about 3% of the world's population at the time. This staggering number includes not only soldiers but also millions of civilians who perished due to bombings, genocides, starvation, and disease. Key factors contributing to its deadliness include the industrialization of warfare, which introduced more destructive weapons such as tanks, aircraft, and, ultimately, nuclear bombs. The Holocaust, perpetrated by Nazi Germany, systematically exterminated 6 million Jews, alongside millions of others deemed undesirable. Additionally, the war's vast theaters, from Europe and Africa to Asia and the Pacific, meant that no region was spared its horrors. World War II also led to significant geopolitical shifts, with entire cities destroyed, economies shattered, and nations reshaped. The aftermath saw the emergence of the Cold War, setting the stage for global tensions that would persist for decades. Its legacy is a profound reminder of the devastating consequences of total war. These wars, while separated by time and place, share a common thread. Each has left an indelible mark on humanity. As we reflect on the staggering loss of life, we are reminded of the heavy price of conflict and the importance of striving for peace. History is filled with lessons, and it's our responsibility to learn from them. Join us next time as we continue to unmask the mysteries of our world, one story at a time. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay aware.